What did your parents do that you absolutely hated? The gaslighting, belittling, and invalidation. I was always just trying my best to please them and be a good person. It was very confusing. I always felt like I was being punished for something I didn't do. I trusted them over myself because they were my parents and they would know better. Gaslighting wasn't on my radar as a child, but I felt immense pain when my version of reality was torn apart and thrown aside. It made me feel incapable of interpreting the world around me without help from other people. Still working on repairing the damage to my psyche this caused. Worked their life away and I couldn't help them ease the burden when I was younger. I seen my mom work 2 full-time jobs and try and get her degree, and I could see how tired and defeated she felt inside every day to make a better life for us. As a parent now, I truly feel what mine went through as I try and make a better life for my own family. Be grateful for your parents. You won't understand until you're one yourself the choices they had to make and the sacrifices for you. Probably not what you're expecting for a reply, but just know, your parents mean well. Not mom but dad. He gives more importance to outsiders than us. He gets irritated when me or my mom wants to talk with him. He's extremely complex character. In some cases we can do whatever we want, but in some cases we've to follow whatever he wants. We both have completely different mentality and we both are short-tempered, so whenever I want to discuss something about my life it becomes a fucking mess. We both are shouting, he's getting angry and I'm crying secretly. Most of them did their best to raise their kids. I suspect people are being a bit too harsh in here. I'm sure you've all been the most important thing to them, but there's a lot more going on in the life of a parent than their kids. My parents did a lot of things that I see as wrong, but I have no doubt they did the best they could, while still being human. They got divorced when I was 8, which I could have handled on its own. Cut to me being in the middle for the next 9 years and both parents constantly telling me things the other had done said. It made me feel gross, like a pawn. Also, no matter what you tell me, the other parent is still half of me. So, I guess I'm not sure what they wanted. When I was a little kid many years ago, they both would smoke in the car while I was riding with them. Long car trips were the worst. It was a different time back then, and the only good thing is that I hated the cigarette smoke so much. It's a habit I never picked up. No fake tattoos, no colored nail polish, only pink not red, no dyeing my hair. Now I'm covered in tattoos, regularly get my nails done in all sorts of colors and have mostly the same hair color. Whatever you prevent your child from doing, they will learn to love it. Wow! Some of these responses are just awful. I came here to write mine, but now it just feels like bragging. I was gonna say my mom used to wake my sister and I up by singing opera. She's a terrible singer, too. Treated me like a mini adult. I was a child. Granted, a precocious one according to them and other adults in my life, but that doesn't mean I deserve to be given the responsibilities of an adult at the age of 6. Whenever they gently knock on my bedroom door, it felt as if the entire door would turn into dust. I'm very sensitive to loud noise, so it probably was gentle. Also, they'd usually knock in the mornings. Did drugs with me at a very young age so that it was normal when I became an adult. When I had children of my own, I realized that being a druggie isn't what most parents want from their children. Fought every day. Screamed at us over the slightest little things, called us the most filthy, horrible words you can think of. I could probably name another 10 things, but I'll stop here. They were extremely demanding. I had to get full marks at school, never in trouble, always responsible. Like, I'm a boy who doesn't get in trouble when they're young. Let me live FFS. My parents did the same, but I didn't hate it. But I also didn't appreciate it how involved they were. They came to all the events and supported us no matter what. Beat me regularly for things out of my control and treat everything that happened in my life as the biggest inconvenience to them. Classic narcissist. Scream and rant at me about how awful and terrible I was, then pick up the phone and call family to lie and claim I have just abused her. They didn't teach me Spanish. They didn't help at all with my student loans. They argued about who is responsible for my existence. Fuck them. They would leave their finished cups of coffee in the sink. I hated the smell of the coffee left in the cup. I can't drink coffee till this day. Praising me when I was doing what they wanted and calling me a selfish poss for saying no despite always being told it's okay to say no. Skull. Pretend each other didn't exist. The tension was unbearable as a kid who visited other parent every Sunday. Such misery. Didn't seek and stay in treatment for her bipolar disorder. Wrecked my childhood, I tell you what. Told me how smart I was all the time, and then never actually listened to anything I said. Raised me as a Catholic. Took me years to unlearn all that indoctrination and bigotry. Stay married allegedly for me. Nah, You stayed married because you were both cowards. Raised me while being emotionally unstable and or emotionally unavailable. They made me use my manners, and let me tell you, that can go a long way. Have confidence in friends, relatives, employees, but hardly in us. Walked around butt-ass naked at home. I never had friends over. My mom drank too much and my dad was an abusive narcissist. Speak French with each other so we wouldn't understand. Toss up between making meatloaf for dinner and abuse.